in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. In the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Good morning everybody and welcome to the latest Elite FPL show with myself Stevo, where I will be doing the old Gameweek 32 preview. Yes, it's a quick turnaround, it is tomorrow. I will be going through the usual story of my score predictions. I will be going through my potential team selection, transfers, etc, etc. I want to talk about my thoughts on some of the teams so far that I've seen slash from what I've been hearing regarding the game week so far, because there are some teams which I think it's just avoid like the plague. There are other teams, Man United, that you should be just loading up on. It's quite simple really. But yes, as you can see up on screen, last night Liverpool were crowned champions. They are the champions of England, and I must say that result last night from Chelsea, I've seen the highlights to the game. Oh, didn't Pulisic look good? Didn't Pulisic look good? I must say, I was, based on the highlights, a bit like Salah. He looked hungry. He looked like a lad that has been training his backside off, and he wants to do really, really well for the remaining season. I'm liking the look of him a lot, and I'm not going to lie, I'm very, 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 very tempted just to bring him in. The problem is, and we'll go into this in a minute, is the whole fact that they've got FA Cup, which is very frustrating. I believe they've got a 5-point gap from 4th to 5th. Is that right? Will Lampard, does Lampard want to risk that position over the FA Cup? Admittedly, they're playing Leicester, who Leicester, they really are atrocious. They're gone. I think if you own Leicester assets, get them gone. Maybe a Leicester defender. But any attack-wise, they're absolutely useless. I would avoid like the plague. But, yeah, Pulisic looked good last night. Man City, on the other hand, was the Fernandinho red card the ultimate factor in why they won? Possibly. Why they lost, possibly. Obviously, giving away the penalty. Williams stepped up and took it. Was it heading for a draw? Like I said, I didn't watch the game. But fascinating the fact that Chelsea won. What does this mean for Man City? Do Man City now just give up, don't care, focus on the FA Cup, focus on Champions League? There are certain players in that team which I think are must-haves. De Bruyne, don't even need to talk about, but Mahrez getting an assist again. He was fouled. Kevin De Bruyne took the free kick and scored. I'd be avoiding Jesus. I wouldn't even be looking at him. The fact that he didn't start like last night, okay, it means nothing. It was against Chelsea, tough team, but I don't know, just gives me no faith. Sterling, he had the opportunity, hit the post, but again, it's 11 million. It's too much money for him. There are certain other assets that I'd be looking at. It's funny because when listening to James on Planet FPL, when listening to Davey FPL, there's too much money in our teams. I don't know what to do with it. There's too many players that I want that I can't fit into my team. I've got, I think, 0.5 in the bank at the moment, and I'm probably going to get rid of Richarlison, because for me personally, he looked absolutely hopeless the other day against Norwich. Absolutely hopeless. Calvert-Lewin, waste of space. Hearing reports last night from Paulie that just Danny Ings wasn't being fed any balls from his teammates, which meant that, of course, he could do nothing. So frustrating last night that Danny Ings wasn't involved much at all. Does that mean that he will potentially be dropped for the next game against Watford? I don't think so. I think, to be honest with you, I think that could be quite an open game, if I'm honest with you. And Dre Zera. See, this is what I mean, Dre Zera. You don't need to ask any permission whatsoever about clipping anything from our show. You pay us. In fact, £2 is more than what we earn for about 20 streams. Liverpool are champions, baby. Yes, they are. They are indeed. And if you want to come on, Dre, and you want to celebrate on here, you're more than welcome to. What does this mean for Liverpool? Are they going to? Are they just going to give up? They just, we've won it now. Not interested. I don't think so. I think something about Liverpool. I mean, we can all be proved wrong before the season before this season restarted. We had people like myself thinking that all these games are going to be a lot of fun, a lot of goals. How wrong I was. I also said about the fact that I think that when Liverpool win the league, once they beat Crystal Palace, they will be on the beach. I've changed my mind now. I think they're looking hungry. I think Liverpool are looking hungry, and I think there's going to be some professionalism in there, where they're going to be going for those points records. I know Davey P's here. I think for people like Davey P, I think you're in the strongest position now where you can you kind of got. I think most people now have got enough information to know which players are worth having. I think we've got enough information over the 2 and sometimes 3 games for certain teams where you can pretty much go, gotta have them. Definitely gotta have him. Just off the top of my head, I think Wolves triple up, Man United triple up for definite, absolute certainty. Chelsea, with their upcoming fixtures, I certainly think maybe a double up defensive-wise, along with a midfielder. Like I said, Pulisic looked from highlights. He looked on it. I mean, he could have got 2 or 3 last night. There was some absolute fantastic defending in that game, and I'm really am tempted to bring him in. I know I said that I wasn't wanting to change my team, but there's something which I mentioned on the stream the other day when I was covering the game between, I think it was last night actually, Burnley and Watford. And it could have been Norwich versus Everton. I can't remember now. But anyway, either way, the point being is that I did speak of the fact that I felt that when you watch games, it really does help your decision making. I know Shomi the Mane is somebody that does look at all this. And I personally think that there are some players which I've seen, i.e. Richarlison, useless. I think Watford last night, don't get me wrong, I think Burnley were deserving of the win. The problem with us is that we're just not clinical. We're not clinical enough. There are certain players in that team that really do need to practice on shooting. They really do. Jay Rodriguez needs to start timing his runs better. Caught offside 3 or 4 times last night. So there are some players out there which, or some players that I'm looking at, I'm thinking, you know what, you're looking good. But Watford, on the other hand, last night, from what I saw, again, it was just one game. Sarr, forget it. Useless. Troy Deeney, again, useless. This is just my opinion based on one match. For all I know, when they played the other day against whoever it was, they could have looked absolutely phenomenal. But I don't think that they're worth investing in whatsoever. And certainly, like I said, Wolves, Man United, maybe a couple of Chelsea, certainly a couple of Liverpool players, I think. Man City, I think you'd be looking at someone like Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne. I think certainly a defender, Laporte, Walker, Edison. If you really wanted to push the boat out with a goalkeeper, I think it's certainly worth looking at. But Dreyzera is here. Dreyzera is here. So Dreyzera will get you on. Hello, Dreyzera. Morning.
Good morning. Yes, baby. We're the champions. Woo!
I'll do a David Brent. Back off. Back off. I'll clip that and everyone will understand. Dreyzera, the forum's yours. Take it away.
Well, guys, I have to say, even though I've got 62 points, I could not care less because for the first time since I've been 3 months old, Liverpool are top of the Premier League. They are top of the divisions. Woo! We did it, and oh my days, it was mildly satisfying to notice that Jason was quite displeased of Liverpool claiming the title as being a Man United fan.
You watched the game last night. How did the game go? Was Chelsea that good? Were Man City that bad? Did it look like it was going to end on?
So I watched. So I listened on the radio in the first half, but while I was on stream, it had like audio issues, like my voice with the. So I basically switched it around and just listened to a mixture of what people are saying, and I watched highlights this morning. So basically, I'll say this right now. I feel that Man City at the start of the game, they were controlling things, but Chelsea had the impetus and they really wanted it more than Man City. And unfortunately, Man City were complacent. And yes, Davey, I am 21 points less than you, but it doesn't matter, man. Your team Chelsea's done us a favour, so it's fine. I'll put aside our rivalry for one game week. It's fine.
pity's sake.
Mm.
Tell us about Liverpool. How do you think they're going to do over the next 6-7 game weeks now they've officially won the title? And how do you think... Well, are you willing to stay on for the predictions?
Yeah, I'm happy to stay on for predictions. Yeah, I'm
Brilliant.
happy to stay on for predictions. I'm just enjoying my cup of tea right now. But yeah.
Tell us about Liverpool moving forward.
So with Liverpool against Man City, I think that's going to be more of an exhibition match. But the one thing that's in Liverpool's favour is that they have a whole week literally to just relax, enjoy, soak it in, and then go again, because Man City has got the FA Cup game. So there might be some rotation headaches for anyone only Man City assets. But I can think there might be maybe a little bit of rotation, but I would think that Liverpool would want to get the record in getting the most points amassed in one season.
Yeah, I can't even click a button. Ridiculous. So, from a Liverpool assets point of view, people like myself, I'm thinking you've got to go with triple up Wolves, whatever combination you want, but it's got to be triple up Wolves. It's got to be triple up Man United, a couple of Chelsea defenders. I'm struggling with Liverpool. Your thoughts on Liverpool? I mean, Davy P, I don't know how serious he is, but he's thinking of captaining Mane this particular game week. But Liverpool assets moving forward, what are you thinking?
So I think out of all the players that I think is perhaps nailed on, I would say Trent. Trent is perhaps essential if you're an FPL manager. But I feel Mane is a good shout. So in my team, last game week I have Mane and Trent, and I captain Mane in 31 plus. So I feel that those are the two essential players. I don't feel hot towards any other player really. I mean, you can make a case for Salah, but as a Liverpool fan, Salah can be quite frustrating.
Yes, he can be. I'm sticking with him for now. I don't see the point personally in getting rid of him whatsoever. But last night, did you see anything from City which you just thought, I'm staying clear, or did you think, nope? Aside from Kevin De Bruyne, I don't care about Kevin De Bruyne. Everybody owns him. But are there any other players that may have stuck out for you? I'm thinking maybe getting some defenders in, maybe Walker, Laporte, Mahrez, anybody like that?
Yes. I think Mahrez has been very consistent. I think, unfortunately, it seems like Sterling at his price right now, I don't think he's worth it at that price. I think he can get better value somewhere else. I think Foden is actually a decent shout, and I think he should be fit for the next game. And Foden is actually a dark horse pick. But yeah, Mahrez, De Bruyne. I mean, it seems that Pep doesn't even want to play Jesus and play with a false striker. So I would say avoid Jesus.
Yeah, I think that I said it to whoever it was the other day that I do not trust Jesus starting whatsoever. I think that it's a complete risk maybe going with him and whatnot. But that beautifully links us into the preview of the upcoming game week, because this game week for me, Drezera, I'm struggling. I'm struggling on who to be bringing in, who not to be bringing in. Up on screen right now is the FA Cup games. Now, of course it doesn't load up. Is the FA Cup games. We start tomorrow with Norwich versus Man United. In fact, let me just make that smaller. I can just make it like that. Yeah, Norwich versus Man United. You have on Sunday Sheffield United, Arsenal, Leicester, Chelsea, Newcastle, Man City. Is this going to have any effect whatsoever on the upcoming fixtures? Because the upcoming fixtures are spread across what seems like a month, but...
Good question. So I would say Norwich, Man United. I think deep down, I think they know that they're relegated. I think they're doomed. They don't seem like they're a fighting team, but that could mean that Norwich City might be up for it in an FA Cup. Man United's on good form, so I think Man United should be fine. I think they have enough of a squad to rotate. I think Arsenal is something to look out for because they have been very inconsistent. And because I think when Sheffield United play Tottenham, you're going to see a much better Sheffield United because they're going to have Egan back, O'Connell should be back, and Henderson will be back in the sticks. Leicester City, Chelsea, that's a flip of a coin. That's a tight game. And Newcastle, Man City, you expect Man City to taste blood and really want to go out Newcastle. So yeah, I think overall, I think it may affect maybe Man City, Arsenal the most. I think Leicester and Chelsea might play weakened sides because I think they really care about the Champions League.
Yeah, we'll move on to the the specific fixtures coming up this game week, because they're very interesting, but it's also very tough to be choosing who to captain, specifically from my point of view. I don't know whether to hold a transfer, whether to go with it. We start with Aston Villa versus Wolves, which is tomorrow afternoon. It's a 12:30 kickoff, surprisingly. I think so far Aston Villa has shown me nothing to suggest that they are they're in this. I think that Wolves, like you just mentioned about the Champions League, they're going to be going for this. They're going to be wanting that Champions League because they can get in there. There's Leicester are dropping points, and Wolves and Man United are the most informed teams at the moment, and I'm expecting Wolves to... I think this is because it's a derby. I do think Aston Villa could get a goal here. I am going to give them a goal, but I think that it will come at out of the run of play. I think Wolves are going to be something like 2 or 3-0 up, and a few tired legs, and I think Aston Villa may get a late goal like they did against Newcastle. But I'm predicting 2-1 to Wolves. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you for the most part. I think Aston Villa has been inept. They are playing at home, but then again, there's no fans. So, I mean, that's the equaliser, to be fair. So, I'm going to go with a Wolves 3-1 to Aston Villa. I think Wolves will concede, but I think it'll be 3-1. Yes.
Idiot. I have to repeat all that now. I just muted myself. So yeah, Watford versus Southampton. These upcoming games are absolutely atrocious. I'm expecting, based on what I saw from Watford yesterday, I'm thinking that Southampton may actually come out on top of this. I think because they're away from home as well. It looks like the way it's all going, away teams are performing better. I'm expecting a tight game here, but I think Southampton are going to be coming out on top of this, and I think Southampton will win this 2-1.
I think this will be tighter. I think if it's going to... You know what? I'm actually going to go against the grain. I actually think Watford's going to nick it 1-0. I think... That's what I'm thinking. I think so something is a bit up with Southampton. I think there's... Something isn't clicking there. I don't know what it is, but... I think Watford might be a bit too physical for Southampton, so I'm just going to do a 1-0.
Well, according to Paul Lee yesterday, essentially they were just not feeding enough balls through to Danny Ings. They just didn't look on it. Arsenal were there for the taking, but Southampton just really weren't taking advantage whatsoever. So maybe Southampton will learn from that and really go at Watford, because Watford did not look... I'm telling you now, Watford last night, if we had... the players that Southampton have got, for example, Watford last night would have lost 3, maybe even 4-0, to be honest with you, because they were awful last night. They were all over the place. Talking of Burnley last night, Crystal Palace versus Burnley. Crystal Palace have got an excellent record against us. And for all you Nick Pope owners, I know you're all going mad last night. They got 10 points. I don't know how he got 10 points, but he did. And I'm expecting Crystal Palace to beat us here. I think this is going to be a comfortable win. I'm going 2-0 to Crystal Palace, essentially because... we've got no strikers. We can't put the ball in the back of the net. Although Zaha, Benteke may be out. It may be a problem, but I think Crystal Palace have got enough quality here to beat us 2-0.
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think something about Burnley's game against Watford last game week shows that Burnley has some fight, and there's that doggedness that Sean Dyche has instilled with his players that makes me think, you know what? I honestly think that Burnley could do something here, and I think it'll be cagey. I think it's a game that I think Amazon Prime unfortunately has a total box office match, 1-1.
And Chiwi's confirming that Zaha is injured. So moving on to another single match, which is on Tuesday evening. It's Brighton versus United. A lot of people are considering captaining a Man United player. I don't think that's wise whatsoever. Although United are looking extremely good at the moment. I'm not going to lie, they are looking absolutely fantastic. I do think that this could be a tight game, tighter than what people think. Brighton, what was their first result that they got the other day? I know they drew 1-1 with... Oh, they beat Arsenal, didn't they? 2-1. They got a 0-0 against Leicester. I'm expecting this to be actually quite tight, although I expect Man United to come out on top of this. And just like our man Dylan saying, I'm going 2-1 to United.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm going to agree with the man here. So Tariq Lamptey, so the standout player for Brighton in the last game, he was very impressive. And for a very cheap price, a cheap signing from Chelsea in the January window, I honestly think is going to be tighter than the last game that Man United play against Sheffield United. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm actually going to agree with the man here, 2-1.
Now then, we've now got a big bulk of games on Wednesday evening. We are kicking off with Arsenal versus Norwich. Now, I want to ask you about Arsenal for this specific game because there's a lot of talk about bringing in Aubameyang, captain them against Norwich here. I do expect Arsenal to win this because Norwich, well, even though they're a bit like Burnley, actually, Norwich, to be fair. They had all the attack the other night against Everton. It's just that they just could not finish. And it could have been a different story, and I'm expecting Arsenal to come out on top of this. I think, again, it's going to be quite a tight game representing in the score, but I think Arsenal will be dominating the possession here. I'm going 2-0 to Arsenal, but what do you think about Aubameyang as captain, or maybe even a real punt on Nketiah?
You know, you're going to be I mean, I was talking to G-Wiz yesterday, and he was right. You shouldn't base the captaincy option over the value of a player or the price of a player. You should value it on the player you think that's going to get the most points. So, Arsenal should win this game. I think Arsenal's defence is still suspect. I think because of Norwich's small squad, I don't think that they might be a bit tired after the Man United game. So I'm going to go... Mind you, Arsenal is playing Sheffield United, but Arsenal does have a bigger squad and they can just play with their kids. So I'll go 4-1 Arsenal, and I think Nketiah and Aubameyang, I think they should score.
4-1. Wow.
4-1.
Wow, that'd be other than Man City, that would be the second highest score this game week off the top of my head. Bournemouth, Newcastle. Oh, this is going to be awful, this game. I was thinking 0-0. I've gone 1-0 to Newcastle because I just think that Newcastle is just going to soak up all the pressure from Bournemouth. And at some point, they're just going to hit them on the counter-attack. I'm expecting Newcastle very late goal. And I'm expecting them to win 1-0.
Yeah, you know what? Bournemouth, I think they seem to be doomed at the moment. They need to get a rocket up their souls. See, I saved myself from swearing there, or profanity. But yeah, I would say 1-0 Newcastle away win.
Everton Leicester is a really, really, really interesting one for me. In fact, Everton Leicester, West Ham Chelsea, because essentially it's down to Richarlison versus Pulisic. Do I get rid of Richarlison, the player that I said I was going to keep for a certain period of time, see how he does? He failed the eye test. In fact, he failed everything against Norwich. Pulisic, on the other hand, he's away at West Ham. West Ham are hopeless. He looked really, really good. It's a night game, but the problem is that Chelsea are playing in the FA Cup, and will Pulisic be rested? I really don't know at the moment, and no one can answer that. But Everton up against Leicester, and to be honest with you, I do expect Everton to win this game. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game, but I expect Everton to come out on this 2-1.
You know what? Here's the thing about Everton. So I've watched Everton on the highlights, and I've watched I've watched like parts of the game at Everton Liverpool, and Everton just seems so uninspiring. But at the same time, Leicester hasn't got their shooting boots on, so I'm actually going to go for a 0-0. Yeah. It really wouldn't surprise me. Leicester they're not even in cruise control. They're just not doing anything at the moment to inspire confidence, and I think that late conceding of a goal against Watford really, really was damning on them. And what is it? They haven't won a match. Well, they've barely won any matches over the God knows how many games. So
over the last 12, 13 games, they've only won like 3 or 4 matches. So they really, really are at the loop at the moment. But moving on to teams which are just absolutely hopeless. I know that, what's his face, GW is here. West Ham, as a West Ham fan, I think they're looking doomed against Chelsea. And I'm expecting Chelsea to come out on top of this pretty well. In fact, I'm expecting Chelsea to do really well here. I'm expecting a 3-1 victory to Chelsea.
You know what? I don't even think West Ham's going to score. In my opinion, if you've got Chelsea assets, time to rake in the points. 4-0 Chelsea.
Morning, Davey FPL. Champions. Ole, ole. You can do it better than that. Come on. Come on, Drazera. Give Davey FPL a song. Go on, give them a song.
Champions, ole, ole, ole. Will that do?
That was absolutely fantastic. Davey FPL, you can clip that and stick it on the start of your video. Moving on to Sheffield United versus Spurs. I've seen Kyle is predicting 3-0 to Spurs here. I think you're mad. Spurs, they're not looking that great, to be completely honest with you. Carl is thinking 3-0 to Spurs. Sheffield United, as you just mentioned, Dre, are looking really, really good at the moment. Sheffield United are going to be having back probably their 3 key players. And I'm expecting this to be a really, really tight game. I do expect Spurs to win. I'm going 1-0 to Spurs. I think they're just going to hit Sheffield United at some point on the counter. And yeah, I think they're going to win this 1-0.
So here's my thinking, right? So I think in the last game, when Spurs won 2-0, they, based on what I was listening to, they seemed so uninspiring and lucky, especially with the Bergwijn handball. Was it a handball? Was it not a handball? So I'm actually going to go against you, and I'm going to say Sheffield United to nick it 1-0.
That doesn't surprise me. James, of Planet FPL, obviously a Tottenham fan, he said that this game's going to be extremely tough, and he's not expecting an easy ride either. Before we went live on there a couple of hours ago, I did listen to Davey FPL's team selection stream, and I can't believe he said what I'm thinking for this Man City-Liverpool game. I'm actually expecting what Davey said. I'm going 0-0 for Man City, Liverpool. I don't know what it is. I said it before the start of this, before it all kicked off, that if Liverpool have won the title before they get to Man City, which now they have, I think that they're going to be a bit still in party mood. I think they'll still be hungover, so to speak. Man City, on the other hand, I just don't think they're going to give a damn. We've seen what each team have done. Man City have probably looked the most impressive, albeit the fact that Liverpool kind of, I think from a psychology point of view, know they've won the title, so I think it's a lot different. This game really is one of the hardest games to call, I think, ever. And I'm just gonna go 0-0.
Right. So here's the thing. So I'm going to use what you've said about Liverpool and party mood, and I'm going to flip it. And in my opinion, I think they're going to be more relaxed. They're going to be more samba. This is going to be more of an exhibition match. Man City knows deep down they're going to finish second, unless they have a catastrophic blunder. So I think it's going to be a goal fest. I think it's going to be really exciting football with the players on the show. With the Liverpool-Everton game, Everton just played spoiler, and Liverpool was not out of the races, and they played kind of like cagey. But I think with those two, both teams, their best assets is attacking beautiful football. 4-3 to Liverpool.
4-3. I mean, you were saying about free-flowing football and stuff. I can imagine that against poorer teams, which Liverpool have got coming up. But against City, do you really think City are going to allow this? They don't want to.
In the reverse fixture, there was quite a few goals. There was either 3-2 or 3-1 to Liverpool in the reverse fixture, and I just feel,
even in this day and age where teams really aren't going for it whatsoever, they're going for the motions.
If there's one thing that Liverpool and Man City have in common, that since Project Restart, both the teams, Liverpool scored 4 against Crystal Palace, Man City scored 5 against Burnley, so they know where to find the back of the net. So that's why I'm going with yes. No Blue Nathan. I didn't go 4-3 for the 43 viewers, but that was quite funny actually.
Yes, it's nice thinking. I must admit, admittedly, I said at the again before the season kicked off that this could end up 10 each, which sounds absolutely mental now. Now looking at that result, thinking about it, but who knows, Dre's there? Nobody knows. But from your point of view, from an FPL point of view, obviously you're what are you thinking of your personal rivalry with Davey P then?
So, being completely honest, this rivalry is mostly just banterous and just funny. Like, the reason why I kind of got motivated to have Davey P as my short-term rival for the end of the season is because I think Davey P is actually a very entertaining guy when it comes to rivalries, and I think that initially Boona kind of felt a bit like he felt a bit like, you know, not so interested in FPL, even though Boona's back in FPL. And I thought, screw it, I'll be Davey P's rival at the time. So I thought I'll just go with it and just have fun. Like, I've only got 2 out of 3 of my chips. I haven't got all my chips, so it's just a lot of fun, really. I mean, realistically, Davey P should be better than me, but should get more points than me by the end. But you never know. It's just a lot of fun.
Where are you in the James Bang Mini League? I'm trying to look for you, but I can't.
So I'm 30 something, I think. Yeah, I think I'm in the 30. I believe I'm somewhere in the 30s. I believe. Yeah, I'm 32nd. And
there, your name is right.
Yeah, I dropped from 6th to 32nd. So I'm not too far away from the top. Yeah, that was my team. I literally hit average, 62 points, 62 average. Yeah, and catching on the bench did sting me a bit, but yeah.
What are you personally planning to do this upcoming game week? Are you are you willing to reveal to your rivals? I mean, you know, it's completely up to you, but that's ridiculous just saying that. What are you planning on doing this game week?
So I'm thinking to myself, so even though I think the Brighton game is going to be tight, I am leaning towards a Bruno captaincy. And I'm definitely going to say this right now, I'm definitely going to bench Grealish. Aston Villa hasn't given me much confidence. Yeah, yeah. I honestly think that for me, I just want to literally, because Liverpool's won the title, I just honestly feel I just want to enjoy, just have a great time, and just do my best. I mean, even though I got 62 points this game week, by me having 122 the previous game week, I'm kind of chill. Because if somebody asked me if somebody asked me at the end, if I had 180 plus points in 2 game weeks combined, I would take that. So yeah.
I'm just looking at this team here. 122 points from a bench boost. Well done. You were 28,000th game week rank. I mean, look at that. That's,
didn't know that.
It's a shame about Kilman though. What made you go with Kilman? Just funds?
Simple. It's just funds. He's 3.9, and I mean, I was actually hoping with the 5 subs he might be a cheeky last minute sub, but yeah, it's literally a case of 3.9 million, and yeah, I did have Tanganga in my team, but he had a back injury, so I literally had so using unlimited transfers, I got rid of Tanganga for Kilman. Yeah.
Have you thought about talking of getting rid of Grealish, or not necessarily specifically getting rid of Grealish, but benching wise? Have you not thought about just playing Nketiah instead, head of Grealish?
Well, let's just say Nketiah has a very high chance of starting next game week. I'll just say that against Norwich, I'm pretty sure Nketiah will either start or he'll definitely play a part. I mean, I think with Norwich's defence and Norwich's morale, I think it's fair to say that Arsenal should win the game, and if they don't win, Arsenal are Banter Club FC.
Arkham Lunatic got 134 last week. That's mad. And do you agree with FPL Classico that avoid captaining players from teams that have FA Cup games before their game week 32 ties?
I'd say yes and no. So I would say Man United's going to rotate. I don't think Bruno's going to start in the FA Cup tie. so they're going to rest him for the Premier League tie, because in midfield they've got McTominay, they've got Matic, they've got Pogba, they can play Mata, they can play Fred. So in central midfield, I think Man United's got a few positions to use. So yeah, I think Bruno should be fresh for the next game, but it all depends. Like if it's smaller squads, I would say avoid captaining smaller squads, in my opinion.
So looking at this James Band Mini League here, how seriously are you taking this James Band Mini League, i.e. to win it? Because for someone like myself, who surprisingly is actually doing very well in this particular game week, and I do want to say, we'll go over it in a minute actually, I'll go over it in a minute, but you're not that far off me. I'm on 205 and you are on 184, so it is very, very condensed in this particular mini league. What are you aiming for in this Cash Mini League?
So here's the funny thing. At the start, I was actually just going to, I thought I'd just enjoy it, see what happens. But on the first game week back from Project Restart, I was actually 6th place. So I thought, you know what? I might actually have a shot at this here. So literally, my aim is to finish as high as I can. If I actually get close to winning or actually winning, it'll be a dream come true, like to win a mini league and win the money. Shout out to James Bang for donating. But yeah, just enjoy and just do your best. I mean, to be at the position that I am, I'd rather be in this position right now than to be in Davey P's position.
Well, Blister Blue Mathan is saying here that Davey P isn't bottom. It is actually it's FPL Penguin who's bottom of the mini league on 120. He's on 120 points. 120 points. Blimey.
Yeah.
And what on earth did he do in the first game week back? He got 79, but this game week he got 45. Blimey, he's dropped massively. He was like 25,000 in the world really early on. Oh, he captained Vardy.
Wow.
That's why. Okay, fair enough. But FPL Penguin, he's bottom of that particularly mini league at the moment. But Davey P, I've said, I mean, I know you joked on your video that Davey P's like in the world's strongest position at the moment. But in all seriousness, I mean, from this Cash Mini League perspective, I think he's genuinely in an excellent position where, with all his chips left to play, I think personally that Davey... I mean, let's just look at his team right now, right? Patrizio fine, Doherty fine, Alexander-Arnold, Chilwell. That's okay. Chilwell, I've said that having a Leicester player, defensive-wise, is pretty solid enough. But Mason Mount, I don't think bother owning. I'd rather upgrade to Pulisic. Salah, fine. Would you be doubling up on Liverpool, Salah, Mane, or would you only have the just Salah and Alexander-Arnold, Mane, and Trent?
Even during the double game week and game week 24, I felt a bit anxious, literally having Mane had both at the same time. So I'd rather go with like somebody from defence, so Trent plus an attacker. So yeah, I think Salah and Mane, it might be a bit overkill, especially since there's a higher chance that both of them will get rotated in the coming games.
In answer to Davey FPL's question, is it winner takes all? Thanks to the generosity of Brett Mollison and Jim Parry, I'm afraid it's actually top 4. Is it top 4, Drezer, or top 3? In this cash is top 4, isn't it? I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Can the chat just clarify that? But yeah, interesting to note though, in the James Bang Mini League, just so you mentioned, there is only 1 point difference between Davey P and our fellow moderator for Elite FPL, Paulie. Bit of a mini rivalry there.
Yes, there is indeed. But yeah, I think it is top 4, Davey. FPL. Talking of, like I said, we're looking at the Davey P's team here. Harvey Barnes, get him gone. Abraham, Vardy, just get all these players gone. Eustace, Newcastle, triple up. I would just stick with the one in Lascelles or Fernandez, whichever one you want to go with, depending on what formation. It looks like you're going with a 3-4-3, so probably keep Hayden. But there are certainly fires in that squad, personally, from my point of view, from what I've seen over the last 3 game weeks that or 3 games for certain teams that there's a lot of fires to be putting out there. But again, Davey P's in an excellent position here, and it'd be really interesting over the next. We've only got
I'll say. I just want to say one thing. I obviously Davey P's in the chat right now. I'm wondering why hasn't he thought about Matt Ritchie? I mean, he's listed as a defender, but he plays far more attacking. I'm just wondering. And Hayden sometimes stays on the bench. It's just like a curious question. I just want to hear his thoughts on this.
Well, the first point being is that the other day he was taken off injured, so I don't know if he'll be fit for. He'll probably miss out on Newcastle against Newcastle. He'll probably miss out on the Man City game in the FA Cup, but he'll probably be back for the returning fixture against Bournemouth. He's telling us straight away he's taken Vardy out already, so it'll be interesting to see who he's going to be bringing in. Random junkie, we've been talking about this Pulisic or Martial. Oh God, Martial for now, only based on the fact that he's a false number 9. But Pulisic is looking really good. I'm in the privileged position of where I can just swap and change certain players out here or there, and I'll be okay with that. But I think that pretty much wraps everything up, Drezera. Thanks for coming on, my friend. Have you got anything to say before we let you go?
Right, guys. Before I head off, don't forget to like this video. If you haven't liked already, like this video. And do not forget, if you're new around here, feel free to subscribe to Elite FPL. And finally, Liverpool are la champione, champione, ole, ole, goodbye.
There we are. In the words of Drezera, and up on screen at the moment, yep. Champione of England. Davey P saying there, should he take a hit to get rid of Barnes or Tammy? Well, as a rival, yeah, do it. Dara Brosnan, I'm mid-table in the Cashmere League team. It's horrible. It's very tight. Let's just quickly go over this Cash Mini League for people that are participating in this. I know, in fact, to be completely blunt with you, it's going to be the majority of people watching this now. Bilal, you're having a stormer, mate. Congratulations to you. Absolutely dominating at the moment. That Martial captain really picking off. Davey FPL, he's then second on 228 points. Then it slowly starts closing the gaps now. Zimmy, 220. And then with the teams with double-digit figures in the sense of like after 200, we've got Tobias and Matthew Azachi. But then from 6th down to 14th and Ryan Seaton. So Nathaniel in 6th and Ryan Seaton in 14th. There is only 8 points covering. It's really tight at the moment. I would be fascinated to know what kind of ownership players are within our mini league. I know, Phil, you're somebody that likes to do the statistics on ownerships of players. If you want to PM me those statistics, I would personally be fascinated to see this, because I know that Show Me the Mane asked me a question yesterday. From my point of view, do I want to be going differential captain-wise? No. I think going differential from a player perspective, like those single game week players, I think it's worth it. I think certainly, like in my specific case, Richarlison out for Pulisic, I'm very tempted. I'm very tempted indeed on that, because based on what I've seen rather than what I haven't seen, whatever that means. Doherty tapped in Random Junkie saying, well, based on what I heard on FPL Surgery this morning, certainly sounds a way forward. G-Wiz saying, hashtag play your own game. Absolutely, it does stand true. Play your own game, do what you need. And from my point of view, my original plan was just to stick to Richarlison for the next 2 fixtures. And I think, to be honest with you, I'm happy with this team. I'll just go with it. The captaincy is, I mean, at the moment it's on De Bruyne right now. But I have no idea, to be honest with you, that I'd be who I'd be captaining. To be fair, I'm in a complete mind headspace at the moment where I don't have a clue what I'll be doing. But other than that, I just want to say quickly thank you to Drezera for joining me on the show, predicting all the scores and everything. He's predicting a very high scoring game between Man City Liverpool, whereas I'm predicting a drab 0-0. In fact, I am tempted to go with Trent Alexander-Arnold as captain, just to almost give me that guaranteed clean sheet. But other than that, I'll probably call it a day. Steve, are you superstitious about captaining the player in the first game? Yes. But if I'm honest with you, Davey, I am... I know you didn't play virtual FPL, but this pandemic Project Restart fixtures, I personally feel it's very similar to virtual FPL. I don't know, there's just something about it because it's such a quick turnaround. I think once you see a player in form, it's just a case of latch onto them. And once they start scoring, they're just going to continue scoring, basically. That's how I personally feel about this specific season. I know in your video that you're going to be going with Jimenez captain. I think it's a good pick. In virtual FPL, just like real life, I think that basically Jimenez is always guaranteed to give you return, whether it's an assist, whether it's a goal. However, against Aston Villa, I mean, I'm predicting 2-1 to Wolves. I think Jimenez will score in that game. I think depends how you're playing the game, but from your point of view, your top 5,000. I mean, let's just have a quick look at your team for a split second here. So this is Davey FPL's team. I mean, I know he's doing exceptionally well anyway, but he has just stormed up the ranks, and he's now 4,926th. And I look at this team, and I just go with safety, and Jimenez is that safety pick. It really, really is. If you're protecting your rank, I think go with that. If I'm in Davies' position here, which if only I was, that's what I'd be doing. If I was in a position where, it's a bit like with me actually in the James Bang Mini League, to be honest with you, I think I'm just going to go with kind of like safety options rather than what Shomi the Mane said, differentials, because I think differential captaincies are more aimed towards the very end of the season, maybe on the last game week where, you know, everything's got to play for, and whatever your position is within the mini league, there's no point in going safety on that. You may as well just go for it. But certainly from your point of view, Davey, I'd be sticking with him and as captain, and take the guaranteed attack and return, whatever that may be, whether it's an assist or clean sheet. Because to be honest with you, Martinez, you're very, very lucky to be having him in your team. But it does fund you to have all those players here. But Martinez getting the clean sheet. And I think you got a bonus 2 or 1 yesterday. Let's just have a quick look here. A bonus 1 in there. Alexander-Arnold, we don't need to talk about. Doherty, Saïs, double Wolves, brilliant. Aurier, I've been told, looking like one of the most attacking players for Tottenham, full stop. Son, a nice little, what I classify as a bit of a differential within our Cash Mini League. But he's a nice safety pick, isn't he? Covering what most people will probably have in the top 5,000 probably. Fernandes, don't need to talk about. De Bruyne, Mane, Rashford, Jimenez. So yeah, it's a very, very, very well balanced team, and I think from your point of view, going safety with captaincy picks wise, I mean, for example, there's no point in someone like yourself going for Doherty as a captain. That could kill you. Just for the sake of making up, say 100, 200 places. To be honest, but I wouldn't even bother asking my advice, for crying out loud. I should be coming to you. But no, in all seriousness, it's a lovely, well set up team. It's I do like every time I watch like the fact you've got 4 defenders, and a lot of people do ask about should we be moving with 4 or 5 defenders coming up for the next foreseeable future. Me personally, I think the 4-4-2 is actually a really, really nice, well balanced squad. I was thinking of doing it myself, but I just thought, nope, stick to my game plan. Stick with a 5-man midfield. But it's looking like at the moment that defenders are, for now, the way forward, because these games have been absolutely pants. Let's be real here. Let's be real. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to call it a morning. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Like I said, thanks to Dre Zera for joining me a few minutes ago, where we were talking all things Game Week 32, predicting the scores. And yeah, up on screen, just to remind everybody, if you didn't know, Liverpool are champions of England. How will it affect them? Other than that, if you are completely brand new around here, you know what to do. Just simply hit the subscribe button if you enjoy the content that myself and Jason produce. If you enjoyed this video, just simply hit the like button and join our Discord. That's the way Dre Zera joined in on the show. He just joined the Discord group. The link is in the description. And other than that, follow us on Twitter at Elite FPL. And I will see you soon. So take it easy, guys, and good luck.